This video will look at the parts of the PB560. So we'll start on the reverse side. On the left-hand side, we have the air filter. So to remove it, you'll essentially pinch and pull, and you'll notice the coarse gray inner filter as well as the fine outer filter. So you always want the white filter facing out and the gray facing in. And to replace it, you'll just place it into the hole. Make sure that all edges are inside of the groove, just to make sure that there's no space around the outside of the filter, because this is essentially filtering out any dust or particles from the air that's breathed in from the member. So once it's all securely in place, where did they go? This is what the package looks like. They come in a pack of 6. So this filter needs to be changed once a month or as needed. So a more dusty area with construction or pets might need to be changed a little bit more frequently. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye on this filter. They are not cleaned, they just need to be disposed of. On the other side here, we have the outlet for the power cord. It looks like this, and it basically only plugs in one direction. And then right next to that is our power button. So that will power on the device. So it's located behind this little protective window. So we'll press that just to power on the machine. Then once we flip it over, we've got the air outlet. So here is where the circuit will attach to, and then we have the sensing wires that will attach to the side here. One is smaller than the other, so it's quite simple to attach the right lines in the right direction. Don't worry about this side here. So this is where you're going to connect your tubing. And then looking at the screen here, so it's powered on, and we've got, so the display screen is here. It's in standby right now, so we've just got a message here saying press to start ventilation, and this will show monitored numbers once the machine is powered on. So when it's running, you'll be able to see the volume that's being delivered and the respiratory rate and a couple of other monitored numbers. And these are our set values or our settings. So you'll notice here it goes from our mode. So we're in volume control. We've got our tidal volume, PEEP, ramp, rate, inspiratory time, inspiratory sensitivity, and sigh breath. So you'll notice beside each setting, there is a square. And what these arrows here are going to help us scroll through our different settings. So that will be used to change our settings, and we'll look at that a little bit after. Other buttons outside of the display screen are our alarm silence, for example. So this will silence or clear an alarm. Pressing it once will silence the audible alarm. You will still get the audible and visual alarm. So you'll get the visual alarms. You'll have the light flashing, and your alarm will show up in this box here. So it'll tell you if it's a high pressure, a low pressure, a disconnect. It'll give you a notification here of what you need to investigate and troubleshoot. And then pressing it twice will clear the audible and visual alarm. So that's the alarm silence. On the other side, we have the indicator for what type of power the machine is running on. So the top one here is AC power, or from the wall plug-in. The second one is DC power, which would be the power wheelchair battery or plugged into a car outlet. And then the bottom one here is the battery. So we'll show unplugging. I'm just going to unplug the back of the ventilator here, and it will switch over to the battery here. And then you'll notice we got a visual alarm. We had heard a little audible alarm. And then here we have a message that says AC power disconnection. So pressing it once will silence the alarm, and then we'll press it twice. And because it's nothing that's urgent, it's going to clear it. So say you have a high pressure alarm and you try to clear the alarm, but the issue remains, it won't actually clear the visual and audible alarm. So we've got the alarm silence, the power indicators. This here is the power button to start ventilation. So pressing it once will start ventilation. Now I'm going to silence the audible alarm, and because we don't have a circuit attached, it's alarming connect valve. And so as mentioned earlier, we can try and press it twice to clear the alarm, but it's not clearing because we haven't resolved the issue. So it's one press to start ventilation, and then it's a little bit more complicated for stopping or putting the ventilation into standby. So you'll notice here will give us a little bit of a prompt. So we'll press it and it will tell us to press and hold for 3 seconds. And then it says to press the key again to confirm. Now we've put the ventilator into standby. These buttons at the bottom here, we've got the up and down arrow, which again will scroll through our settings, and it'll also change the numbers up or down. So to change a setting, you'll scroll through and find whichever setting you want to adjust. So let's say we want to adjust PEEP. So we've got our PEEP highlighted with the square there. We'll press the check mark to select PEEP, and then you'll go up or down to change your setting. We'll say the PEEP of, let's just do PEEP of 5. Perfect. And then you will see it's still flashing here and here. So we'll have to confirm with that check mark. And now our PEEP is set at 5. And we can now, once we use the arrows, it'll scroll through the different settings. So this main page has our set values. This square will contain our monitored numbers. And then this page button here will scroll through between our settings page and our alarms page. So here we'll have our high pressure and low pressure alarms are the most important. So we'll have low pressure and high pressure, and it'll scroll through them one at a time. So let's say we highlight the square beside the pressure alarm, and then we're going to press the check mark. You'll see the first one is flashing, so we can adjust that. Or if we don't want to adjust it, we can just press check mark, and now it goes to the high pressure alarm. So even if you don't want to adjust the high pressure alarm, it's going to scroll through to the high pressure alarm, and then you'll have to select it again. And then we've got our alarms locked in. So we'll go back to the main page here with that button on the side. And then the last setting that you will need to check is under preferences. So you can either go all the way to the top, and scrolling up will take you down to the bottom, or you can scroll all the way down through the menu until you have preferences highlighted. And then you're going to press the check mark, and that will open up a separate menu, which you want to look at the disconnect alarm here. Typically it's set 15 to 20 seconds, but that is how long it's going to take before the ventilator alarms after a disconnect from the ventilator. So similar to the other settings, and it does close out if you don't select anything quickly. So we'll go back into that menu, preferences, check mark, same thing as the other ones. You'll scroll down, disconnect, select, and we'll change that to 15 and select. To get back to the main menu, you'll have to scroll all the way down to this section that says back to ventilation and press the check mark. And now we are back onto the main screen. So that's all the parts of the PB560.